Top 10 celebrities Hollywood tried to erase. What happens when the most powerful industry in the world decides you're too dangerous to exist? When your name becomes a whisper, your face disappears from screens, and your legacy gets rewritten overnight. Hollywood has buried careers, erased legacies, and silenced voices that once dominated the world stage. Some of these names you'll recognize. Others, they did their job so well, you might have forgotten they ever existed. Today, we're exposing the top 10 celebrities Hollywood tried to erase from history. And number 1? Even we were shocked when we uncovered the truth. For decades, Hollywood has operated as the ultimate gatekeeper of fame and fortune. But when the industry turns against you, whether through scandal, political blacklisting, or simply becoming too controversial, the fall is swift and brutal. These aren't just cautionary tales. These are real people whose careers were systematically dismantled, whose contributions were minimized, and whose stories were intentionally buried. Some fought back, some disappeared entirely, and some, well, their erasure reveals darker truths about the price of fame. Let's begin the countdown. 10th, Megan Fox. Remember when Megan Fox was everywhere? Transformers made her a household name, a global sex symbol, and one of the most talked about actresses in Hollywood. Then, almost overnight, she vanished. But this wasn't a personal choice. This was a calculated erasure. In 2009, Fox compared director Michael Bay to Napoleon and Hitler in an interview. The backlash was immediate. Steven Spielberg reportedly demanded her removal from Transformers 3. She was replaced, blacklisted from major franchises, and labeled difficult to work with, Hollywood's favorite code for a woman who speaks her mind. For years, she took smaller roles, her career in limbo. It wasn't until recently that Fox began speaking openly about the sexism, exploitation, and silencing she endured. Hollywood didn't just sideline her, they tried to make everyone forget she existed, but this is just the beginning. 9th, Brendan Fraser. Brendan Fraser was the action hero of the late 90s and early 2000s. The Mummy franchise George of the Jungle bedazzled. He was charming, bankable, and beloved. Then he disappeared for over a decade. Why? Hollywood doesn't like victims who speak up. In 2018, Fraser revealed he had been sexually assaulted by Philip Burke, former president of the Hollywood Foreign Press Association, in 2003. The trauma, combined with a brutal divorce and mounting medical bills from doing his own stunts, broke him. But the industry didn't rally around him. They ghosted him. Roles dried up. He was written off as a has-been. It took a grassroots fan movement and Darren Aronofsky casting him in The Whale to bring Fraser back. His Oscar win in 2023 wasn't just a comeback. It was vindication. And the erasures only get darker from here. 8th, Janet Jackson. One wardrobe malfunction, 9/10 of a second. That's all it took for the NFL, CBS, and MTV to try to erase one of the biggest pop stars on the planet. The 2004 Super Bowl halftime show incident became a cultural firestorm, and Janet Jackson bore the entire weight of the blame while Justin Timberlake's career skyrocketed. Jackson was blacklisted from radio, banned from the Grammys, and her album Damita Jo was sabotaged by label interference. Meanwhile, Timberlake performed at the Grammys 8 days later. The double standard was glaring, deliberate, and devastating. Janet's career never fully recovered in the way it should have. It wasn't until the 2020s, with documentaries and public reckonings, that people began to acknowledge the injustice. But by then, crucial years, prime years, had been stolen. But Hollywood's greatest erasures involve politics. 7th, the Dixie Chicks. The Chicks. In 2003, the Dixie Chicks were the biggest-selling female band in the United States. Then lead singer Natalie Maines made one comment criticizing President George W. Bush and the Iraq War during a concert in London. The backlash was nuclear. Country radio banned them. Their CDs were bulldozed in parking lots. Death threats poured in. They were erased from country music almost overnight, labeled traitors and blacklisted industry-wide. It didn't matter that they were proven right about the war. The damage was done. They rebranded as the Chicks, shifted genres, and slowly clawed back relevance, but Nashville never forgave them. Their erasure wasn't just professional, it was ideological punishment. And speaking of ideology, 6th, Monique, Oscar winner. Comedy legend, box office star. Monique had it all, until she said no to Netflix, Oprah, and Tyler Perry. In 2017, she called out Netflix for offering her a lowball deal compared to white and male comedians. She was right, the numbers proved it. But Hollywood doesn't reward honesty. Monique was labeled difficult, ungrateful, and bitter. Lee Daniels, Oprah Winfrey, and Tyler Perry, her former collaborators, publicly distanced themselves. Roles evaporated. For years, she was virtually unemployable. Even her Oscar didn't protect her. Her erasure was a warning to every black woman in Hollywood: stay quiet or pay the price. Only recently has Monique begun to re-emerge, vindicated by the industry's reckoning with pay equity and abuse. But political erasure goes back decades. Fifth, Paul Robeson. Paul Robeson was a Renaissance man, actor, singer, athlete, activist, and intellectual. In the 1930s and 40s, he was one of the most famous black performers in the world. Then the US government decided he was too dangerous. Robeson's outspoken support for civil rights, labor movements, and socialism during the Red Scare made him a target. In 1950, his passport was revoked. He was blacklisted, erased from film, radio, and concert halls across America. Newspapers stopped mentioning him. His recordings were pulled. For nearly a decade, one of the greatest voices in American history was silenced by his own government. Even after his passport was restored, the damage was permanent. Robeson's legacy was intentionally buried, and only in recent years has history begun to remember him properly. But some erasures are more sinister. Fourth, Rose McGowan. Rose McGowan was a rising star in the 90s, scream charmed indie darlings. Then she became one of the first women to publicly accuse Harvey Weinstein of rape. What followed was a masterclass in institutional erasure. McGowan was smeared, surveilled, and silenced. Weinstein hired ex-Mossad agents to track her. Hollywood distanced itself. She was labeled crazy, difficult, and unreliable. Her career disintegrated. But McGowan didn't disappear quietly. She became a leading voice in Theme 2 movement, weaponizing her erasure into activism. Weinstein is now in prison, and McGowan's courage paved the way for countless others. But the cost? Her career, her mental health, and years of her life. Hollywood tried to erase her. She refused to vanish. And now, we enter the top three. Third, Sinead O'Connor. In 1992, Sinead O'Connor did something unthinkable on live television. During a performance on Saturday Night Live, she tore up a photo of Pope John Paul II and said, "Fight the real enemy." America lost its mind. O'Connor was protesting decades of sexual abuse covered up by the Catholic Church. She was right. But the backlash destroyed her. Radio stations banned her music. She was booed off stages. Her career in the US was obliterated. For 30 years, she was mocked, dismissed, and erased. It wasn't until after her tragic death in 2023 that the world finally acknowledged she was telling the truth all along. Sinead O'Connor was a prophet punished for being ahead of her time. But before we reveal number one. Second, Charlie Chaplin. Yes, that Charlie Chaplin. The most famous filmmaker in the world during the silent film era, a cultural icon, and a creative genius. So how did Hollywood erase him? Simple. The US government accused him of being a communist during the McCarthy-era Red Scare. Chaplin's left-leaning politics and refusal to become a US citizen made him a target. In 1952, while traveling to London for a premiere, the FBI and INS revoked his re-entry permit. He was exiled from the United States for 20 years. Hollywood, terrified of being associated with him, stayed silent. His films were pulled. His name became toxic. One of the most influential artists in history was erased from the country that made him a legend. He never lived in America again. And now, the number one celebrity Hollywood tried to erase. First, Fatty Arbuckle. Before Charlie Chaplin, before Buster Keaton, there was Roscoe Fatty Arbuckle, the biggest comedy star in the world. In 1921, he was earning $1 million a year, more than any actor in history at that time. Then, in one night, Hollywood erased him completely. Arbuckle was accused of the rape and murder of actress Virginia Rappe at a party. The media frenzy was unprecedented. He was tried 3 times. Twice the jury deadlocked. The third time, he was acquitted and the jury issued a rare written apology stating he was entirely innocent. But it didn't matter. The damage was done. Hollywood banned him. His films were pulled from theaters. His name was blacklisted. The man who pioneered physical comedy, who mentored Chaplin and Keaton, who invented techniques still used today, was erased. He died broken, and forgotten at 46. It wasn't until decades later that historians confirmed what the jury already knew. Arbuckle was innocent. He was destroyed not by guilt, but by scandal, media hysteria, and Hollywood's hunger for a scapegoat. His erasure was the blueprint for every blacklist, every smear campaign, every career destroyed by rumor and fear. Fatty Arbuckle didn't just lose his career, he lost his life, and Hollywood let it happen. From political persecution to industry retaliation, these 10 stories reveal a dark truth. Hollywood isn't just an entertainment machine. It's a power structure that can build you up or tear you down overnight. Some of these celebrities fought back, some never recovered, and some, like Fatty Arbuckle, were erased so completely that history almost forgot they existed. But here's the question we want you to answer. Do you think any of these celebrities deserved what happened to them? Or is Hollywood's power to erase people a danger we should be talking about more? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If this video opened your eyes to the darker side of fame, smash that like button, subscribe for more deep dives into Hollywood's hidden history, and hit the bell so you never miss an upload. Thanks for watching. And remember, history isn't always written by the winners. Sometimes it's rewritten by those with the most power.